I'm bringing back my 2008 MacBook, and as you see here, it's running macOS 10.7 Lion. 10.7 Lion was released originally in 2011, and Apple dropped support for it in 2014. So it's supported for 3 years. This is the first version of macOS that was available for digital download, where the previous ones, as I've shown in other videos, you primarily installed it through disks, through physical disks that you would insert into your computer. Here you download this version of macOS directly from Apple over the internet. So today we're going to try to show how this operating system performs on the internet in 2021. I've shown the performance of this device in bits and pieces, but I just want to go into a little bit more detail today, or much greater detail today. So we're going to show the different browsers, and this is the most compelling use case scenario for me and how to use this computer today. For me, I spend a lot of time in browsers when I'm on my computers. So that's really the most compelling thing to show when I'm, or at least for me, this most compelling thing to show when I'm working on these older devices. Internet ability is really important when I'm looking at the computers that I have in my collection, and I'm always trying to find ways to keep them relevant. Because this is still a really good device. 2008, it was released, and that is now 13 years ago, running an OS that's been unsupported for about 7 years. So, in general, for your main computer, if you can avoid it, I will always suggest that you use something that is still supported, that's still currently getting updates and security patches. I use these old devices for fun, even though they're still very capable, as I hope to show today on the internet. Now, one thing is I'm using screen capture software here, the native screen capture software using QuickTime for this recording. And it does make this old machine hum a little bit. So we're going to start hearing fans, and you may already start hearing them. So that's going to be something we're probably going to be dealing with. When you don't have the screen capture going, it does. This machine is fairly silent. It's still in fairly decent condition, but I suspect the fans will ramp up here and there as we are recording here. So we're going to be in the browsers mostly, but there is something else here that does really require internet access in order to work, and that's iTunes. So let's just open up iTunes, because iTunes is really kind of interesting, because on some of these older devices, or really older operating systems, iTunes stopped working. Now, in a previous video, I was showing the browser performance under 10.6. That is the operating system before this one, 10.6 Snow Leopard. For a while there, under Snow Leopard, the iTunes stopped working. So we're not in Snow Leopard right now. We're on 10.7 Lion. But as you see, we're under the movie section here, and everything looks good. So it looks like you could still utilize iTunes here. And let's just click on something here, one of the movies randomly. So I just clicked on Black Widow. I just want to see what the movie page for this looks like, and everything looks like how it should look here. And let's just see if it's still capable of playing trailers. Now, let me make sure the volume is turned down here, because I do not want to get a copyright strike from any music that might be playing. You can also get a strike just by playing the trailer itself or playing a video itself. So let's see if it will play this trailer. Okay, there we go. It is playing the trailer. We will only look at this for a few seconds, just so, because even this can sometimes give you copyright strikes if it detects copyrighted, copywritten videos playing on your. I mean, it's crazy how they scan these videos now. It's just insane. But this is still apparently functional. Where for a while there, on some of these older versions of iTunes, it wasn't functional. And I mean, it might as well be functional because anyone that's still using this will still have access to their iTunes library and apparently still be able to make purchases. Again, I'm not signed in here to any Apple account, so I'm just viewing the content listed here. But it is good to see that this is still apparently functional. Okay, so I just wanted to start there just to see what iTunes look like, and it still looks pretty good. I just want to pull up random one of the albums here just to see what it looks like. Okay, so that is pleasant. Now, today we do not have iTunes anymore under the current version of Mac OS, Big Sur. I forget which version removed iTunes. It might have been Catalina that removed it, either Catalina or Mojave. I'm not really sure off the top of my head when they removed iTunes. Now everything is split out. So iTunes was very bloated. I mean, you had music, you had movies, podcasts. You also had your own individual catalog of music, your own personal music. And then also you managed your iDevices, the iPads and the iPhones through iTunes. So it was really big and bloated, and now they've kind of split everything up into multiple apps. So now you have an app for podcasts, one for music, TV. TV covers all the video. So that's the way they do things now. But iTunes still is around, and these old versions of macOS still working apparently. And I think it's still the way you would interact with your iDevice if you're on a Windows machine. They've kept iTunes on Windows devices. So that might be what they'll continue to have for Windows users going forward, but not for current Apple users. All right, so let's look at some of the browsers here. We'll start with the default browser for this OS, Safari. And it's a very old version of Safari. So let's just look at that here. And as you see, we opened up first to Apple's website. And we're missing most of the visuals here. So if you saw the video that I did on macOS 10.6, this looks very familiar. Most of the visuals here are missing. But you do see I do not have the develop menu here. So let's get that, because we can maybe add some functionality here by having that folder here, that develop folder. So we're under General tab here, but let's go to Advanced. And if you remember, we just have to put a check mark here, and then we get that. That's what we want. Again, let's just uncheck it. It disappears. Check it again, and now we have that folder that menu that we want, and this allows us to change the user agent. Now, if one thing that's really cool here is that if you remember under 10.6, the version of iOS under user agent that was compatible with that was iOS 4. This is iOS 7. So iOS 7. When is iOS 7? When was that I'm just going to take us out of my normal sequence here. iOS 7. I just want to see, is that 2013? Yeah, that's 2013. And the last version was in 2014. All right, so that, you mean, because iOS 4 was from 2010. So did I already change the user agent? I haven't changed the user agent yet, so we're going to leave it as that right now. But we have the ability to go up there to change the user agent. Now let's just look at what version of Safari this is. Okay, so this is a version from 2014. 6.1.6, that's the last time. Apparently this version of Safari was updated in 2014. Okay, so let's just look at some websites here and see how they function. We've already on the Apple site. And let's go to Amazon.com. And to see how this functions under this version of Safari. And on the front page, it looks pretty good. That's the first thing that we can see here. And let's just look at the results. So we're going to search for MacBook. And let's just see what that brings up here. It seems like I thought I just, let's see if we can do it again. You know what? Now this is the first bug here. I cannot search by pressing on the magnifying glass here. So I'm going to have to choose one of these options down here in order to get this, to process this search request. Because I can't click here to do anything. Okay, so let's go see if that loads now. I thought that would work here. Let's see it again. Let's try MacBook Pro. Yeah, there we go. It took a multiple attempts here in order to get it to process the search request. Okay, let's see if we can, I just want to see what this is here. Okay. Now, other the issues that we were having with the search, other than that, the look and feel of Amazon looks pretty good here. Everything tends to look like you would expect it to look on a modern or current web browser. So this looks pretty good. So I'm pleasantly surprised here, and we did not have to change the user agent or anything. This is just a default 2014 Safari desktop, and everything looks really nice here. This seems to be fairly functional, although it's a bad sign when you can't search the normal way. I mean, I'm just really surprised at that. I just want to see if we can feel a little. Yeah, it's just not working if you do that. Yeah, you have to, the magnifying glass will not work no matter how many times you click. You have to try to activate it by choosing one of the search results. So at some point, somewhere down the line, and that's just the factor with these old browsers, somewhere down the line, something else is going to break. It's just so surprising because everything looks really good that it's having those issues. But things with these old browsers, they break in stages. So in the beginning, everything still seems to work even though it's old. But at some point, little things start to break and then big things start to break. Okay, so now we're going to go to eBay. Now under 10.6, eBay did not show any images. And that was under the default user agent, or even under iOS. If you try to switch it to a mobile user agent, it just did not work at all. So I'm just curious to see what eBay looks like here. And if you remember, under 10.6, it showed no images. We are getting at least some images here, although this is not the way it would look on a current browser, because there's a lot of elements missing here under eBay, but it looks a lot better than it does under 10.6. Under a lot of the browsers under 10.6, we could not even access eBay. Here we can access it. We do get some images. This might be on the edge of functionality here. I wonder if you could sign. Now, I think the search button here will work. Let's see. Yeah, it works here under eBay. It didn't work under Amazon, but it does work here under eBay. And let's see here. The results look pretty good. The formatting of the page looks really good. It looks basically how you would see this on a current browser. So although the home page of eBay, a lot of missing elements, only some of the images were showing up on the search. Not only it looks good, but the formatting is good as well. We're going to just widen this a little bit. So there you go. All right, so that's eBay. So now we're going to just check out some additional big sites here. Let's see about BBC and see what this looks like under this version. Of Mac OS 10.7, Safari from 2014. Okay, there we go. It took a little while for everything to show. Oh no, Christian Pulisic tested positive for corona. Now, overall, the top of the page of the home page looks a lot better than as we scroll down, more and more missing elements, and it doesn't appear to be loading anymore. It loaded everything that it was going to load. We'll be able to play video here. Will video be functional? Okay, that video did not seem to load at all. I just want to see if we can go under some of the sections here. Let's see, news. As we see here, sometimes when you dive in deeper into a site, sometimes you have different results from the home page and also from sections. Things seem to be fairly consistent. Not everything is loading. A lot of missing images here. Video doesn't seem to be, I'm not sure if that's playable at all. You know, I'm just clicking on different random things here. Let's see. This is where the video would be. Is it loading? It doesn't appear to be. Oh, okay, there we go. Let's just see here if we can play this. Thinking about it. Okay, it is playing now, although it doesn't seem to be playing well. As you see, My guess is that the volume is okay. Let's just see if we can. God, I'm having trouble trying to get this volume to. Okay, I was having trouble with the volume here. Um, but as you can see, it's mostly freeze frames. So it's barely playable. Okay, that's the BBC. Now we have the big boy here. That is, if you're going to test any, if you're going to test any web pages, or if you're going to just test one, YouTube is one of the web websites that if it's a great way to test the browser. If you don't want to go to multiple websites, you can just go to YouTube, and that gives you a great sense of how well the browser is functioning. So we're under the default user agent here, and it tells us to update the browser. Let's just go and see if it allows us to access the main page, and it does not. Well, let me go back. It does allow us to access, but it doesn't give us any content here. So let's see if we can just change that user agent. And let's go to Safari, iOS 7, iPad, and see what happens here. There we go. So playing around with the user agent sometimes makes a difference. I can't change the user agent on all the websites because it'll just be, we'll be here for 3 hours. But YouTube is one that I definitely will change it on. And just to do a little quick video playback here. Let's skip that ad. I'm having a heck of a time here with the volume. Oh, okay, I know what I was doing wrong. Good. Welcome back to Digital Laundering, and in front of us here we have my Nexus 5. This is a device I only had since 2021, so this is a used device. Originally came out in 2013. I don't think this will allow me to go full screen here. Oh, maybe. Let's see what happens if I try to go full screen. 3 years Okay, I'm having a heck of a time with this. All right, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Gosh. Okay, so it is doable if you change the user agent here. Now I want to see if we can look up social media. So I have to pick I'm picking a celebrity that has all the social media. We're still under that mobile user agent. Let me just go back here. I just want to go back to the default user agent. Now the Rock has all the different social media, so I just want to see if we can. Okay, now I went to Instagram first. It's taking us to a login page, which is interesting. So it didn't even give us an option to see if we could access the page, his own personal page. It just went straight to the login. Let's see here if his Twitter is accessible, because Twitter wasn't accessible any longer under 10.6. So let's see. Here we go. Here's his Twitter. Now it says it could not open the page. Let's change that user agent and see if that makes a difference. Wow, this is really weird. I did not expect this at all. So yeah, so no. Let's see about Facebook here. See, I'm still under the mobile user agent, and it's taking us to the mobile version of Facebook for the Rock. And now asking me to log in. So you can access it, but just barely. It just does not. I also just want to see here, because I know The Rock has TikTok. It does not appear. TikTok results tend not to appear on the first page, and hopefully by just that. Okay, here it is. This is official TikTok. Let's see. That won't open. That won't open. All right, so this is Safari. I mean, it's just. I mean, it's really one of the things is when you're using these old operating systems, you get a lot of mixed results. So that's why you have to have multiple browsers. Without multiple browsers, uh, and we're going to go to Google Chrome right now, you really just lose the ability to do a lot of different things. And but by having the multiple browsers, now it's still loading here. It's asking me to sign in, which I'm not sure why it's doing that. It's okay. So just go to Amazon right now. Okay, it's finally loaded the Google homepage. It took a long time for that to load, so that's really weird. Now the version of Chrome that we have here is the same version that is accessible under 10.6. 10.6, 10.7, and 10.8 were all dropped by the same version of Chrome at the same time. So this is a version from 2016, late 2016. So this is 5 years old now. It's still loading here. Okay, finally it stopped loading. So I try to keep some of the searches consistent. And let's see if we can, this button works here. Doesn't work here either. Okay. All right, so that's the results for the MacBook. So this time, even though the search button wasn't working, just like it wasn't working under Safari, one other option other than, and I don't know why I didn't do this previously. I think I tried to do this previously under Safari. So you have the option of, if you're searching, either by choosing some of the suggested searches. When they highlight, you can choose one of those, or you can just go to enter, return or enter from the search bar, and that will allow you to search as well. I just want to make sure, so I'm just going to go back to Safari real quick as well, because I'm not sure if I pressed enter at any point when I was on Amazon. I just used the suggested search results. So let me just go back here. We're going to go back to Amazon, go back to MacBook. Thing is very delayed and running very slow. Some of this may have to do with recording software. On this old machine, it definitely caused it to slow down. This 13-year-old computer is working really hard here. Okay, so yeah, you can, so that's the, let's just quit Safari here. So I just wanted to double check that. Yeah, so you can search either, this does not work. On a current browser running, Big Sur, Mac, Windows 10, or any supported operating system prior to that, on any of those major platforms, you can use this button to search, but it doesn't work here on these older browsers. But you can search either one or two ways, either by using the suggested search or by pressing enter. This is not working at all. Okay, press enter or return after you enter your search term. Other than that, it looks pretty good. Other than that, it looks pretty good. Safari, even though this is 2 years later, this is 2016. The Safari version that we had is from 2014. But the search results, at least for these type of products, these tech products that we have here, these consumer products. Now, when I was searching under 10.6, I was looking for movies, and movies on the old version of Safari, the movie results in Amazon were really poorly displayed. So, there's a lot of different issues that you're going to come in here or run into here. Okay, so now we're going to go to eBay and see how this works. Now, under 10.6, eBay was not we could not access eBay. Okay, and I somehow just lost it. Let's try that again here. Okay, so it is still loadable. Okay. Under Safari, under most of the browsers, only a few browsers could I actually access eBay. Under 10.6, no Leopard. 10.7, Lion. Under this, even though this is the same version of Chrome that I use under 10.6. Under 10.7, I'm able to access eBay here. And the lack of consistency, because this is the same version. I mean, if that version was inaccessible under 10. Lion or 10.6 Snow Leopard, you would think it would also be inaccessible under 10.7 Lion, since it's the same version of Chrome. But here, it seems to be functional. We have a lot of the elements of the page here that is showing up. It's becoming really hard to do things here because everything is running really slow. So I just wanted to check for the same machine that I'm using here to do this test, which is the 2008 MacBook. And now we're going to check here. So this looks very much the same way that eBay looked under Safari. And it looks highly functional, although it's still loading here. So things are loading really slow. And I'm sure you can hear those fans going. They're not too bad though. They are definitely noticeable, but I don't think they're that bad right now. Okay, so that's eBay. Uh, I just want to pick up the pace here because this video is getting really long. You guys know how long it's going to be when you click on it, because you have actually the finished video in front of you. Oh, this is becoming really a pain. It keeps. Let's see if we can go to the BBC again here and see if it'll allow me to complete a search. Yeah, I don't know what's going on right now. It is really acting up. Doesn't appear to. Okay, there we go. It's okay. Okay, so it's really behaving poorly right now. It's really behaving poorly. And actually, okay, here we go. Let's just see what this looks like. Okay, so I just clicked on the BBC homepage, but all right, so another attempt is now opening. So you get a lot of the good and the bad with these old browsers, where some days they perform fairly decently, and other days they don't. And this is a day where this is not performing that well. I'm just curious to know if we'll be able to get most of the elements of the page. Still loading here. And for the sake of time, I'm probably going to, let's see, just want to see what it does here. Looks very much how this looked under Safari. So even though this is 2 years later, right now, at least for this individual test, okay, there we go. Now, one thing, it required a lot of time here, but it's loading a lot more than what it loaded under Safari. Many of the elements that remain missing, we had a lot of question marks on Safari for images here. Now this is a very large page, so things are slowly loading as we're scrolling down, and it's taking a long time for everything to load, but it looks like everything has loaded here. So is this a satisfactory experience? No, but it may, just the fact that it loaded the entire page, even though it required a long period of time, it eventually did get there. All right, so Since I'm having so much trouble with Chrome and this is taking so long, I just want to quit Chrome right now and look at some of the other browsers that we have here. Now, under 10.6, I was able to check some of these other browsers like Firefox. This is the same version of Firefox that are under 10.6, and also the same version of Arctic Fox that was under 10.6. So for the sake of time, I won't test these, even though we may get different results here. I mean, we could see that with eBay. Even though this is the same version of Chrome that was under 10.6, under Chrome under 10.7, and hopefully these numbers don't get too confusing, under Mac OS Lion, we were able to access eBay. So you can get different results depending on the browser and on the day that you choose to actually test. I could get a totally different result if I test tomorrow on some of these old browsers. They've been unsupported for so long. You get a lot of weird results sometimes. Certain times a website won't work, and other days it will work just fine. And that's one of the major problems you get from using these old browsers: the lack of consistency. On a current computer running a current operating system that's still supported, you get consistent results all the time when you visit web pages and everything else. That's the major benefit of using a modern system. And that's one of the reasons why I just kind of use these for fun, because of the lack of consistency. Also, in showing this, the screen recording software, there is definitely some lag that develops in the system when this is playing. So that is definitely a factor. I mean, you hear the fans, so this thing is heating up, and it is working really hard. It's a 13-year-old device. But let's look at some of the more current options here. So we have Pale Moon, and I did a video on this channel about Pale Moon dropping macOS support. So this version is from earlier in 2021, and as far as I know, there won't be any excuse me, there won't be any future version for Mac devices. And this is like one of my favorite browsers for a long time under this version of Mac OS 10.7, because it was getting regular updates, and and the performance was pretty good. All right, so here we have Pale Moon. And for the sake of time, we're just going to really try to zip through this. So we're going to just, from what we've seen from Amazon, even the older browsers were able to handle it pretty well. I just want to go straight to eBay. And see how this handles eBay. Now, on all the browsers that we've shown so far, they are all able to access eBay, so it's very different than 10.6. Now, these are the last two browsers I will show. Well, we're going to start off with Pale Moon. We got one more coming. These are browsers that were at the very least updated in 2021. So, again, development on this one ceased, but it's still fairly new. Earlier this year, 2021 was the last version that was released for this operating system, and for Mac OS in general. Now this looks great. I mean, this is exactly, you know what? There's some open spaces here. I think it may be a little bit more tighter if you're looking at this on a modern browser, but overall, this looks really great. Very few obvious missing elements. Even the transitions here works. So overall, eBay hasn't looked bad on any of the browsers, and it's been seemingly functional on all of them. But this one has the best homepage of any of them that we've seen so far. And I suspect, yeah, they've all shown really decent search result pages. So that's definitely not been an issue. So eBay has performed pretty well today. Let's just go to YouTube. So this is probably going to be over an hour, this video, and I'm just scratching the surface. I mean, it is so much that you can see on what these browsers can do. I try to go to major websites that a lot of people use, or most people use, because it's more relevant than going to really small websites that only have a very niche use. Okay, so we're on eBay here, and it is attempting to load this page. Okay, it says unresponsive script, so let's stop that. There you go. So this is not loading at all. So even though this browser has not, it's only been unsupported maybe 2-3 months, it is not able to load YouTube. Let's just go to preferences here and see if there's any ability to change any type of user agent. It says Firefox Compatibility. Let's go to there. And see if we can reload it. Let's see. Yeah, this is not. I was expecting a lot more from this browser on YouTube at the very least. Yeah, it's not loading YouTube at all for some reason. Very surprised. Oh, here we go. It's requiring a long time. There's no visual here okay, it's beach balling, but there's not a lot of visuals here letting me know whether the page is still loading or not. It would appear that it's completely loaded, but it's not showing any of the thumbnails here for any of the videos. Yeah, so this is not okay. Here we go. Wow, that was a long time, people. Holy cow. That was a long time to show thumbnails. Wow. Okay. All right, so for the sake of time here, because I don't even want to try to test the video here on YouTube, we're going to go to the BBC really quick here and see what happens if we... Now, I have changed the user agent here, so we're just going to keep on that user agent. Change it to Gecko compatibility. See if what happens here. Now, could I put more memory on this device? I think I could max out memory here on at 6 gigabytes. So that's a big thing when you're using some of these older devices. On my 2007 MacBook, when I purchased that, it had 1 gigabyte of memory installed, and I ran with that at 1 gigabyte of memory for a very extended period of time until many years later I upped it to 4 gigabytes, the same amount of memory I have on this 2008 machine, and that made all the difference in the world. Because a lot of the inconsistencies that I was receiving when I was on the internet. Some days it was okay, other days it was not functional. When I increased that memory, it was smooth sailing at that time. I mean, this is like 4 years ago on that machine when I increased it from 1 gigabyte to 4, but it made a big difference. Okay, so now let's look up the rock. Now this is searching on DuckDuckGo, and DuckDuckGo has different results uh, in how they lay out than on Google. But let's just see what we have here. It looks pretty good. It looks like most of the stuff I want. Haven't tested Wikipedia today. Often I do test Wikipedia, but Wikipedia tends to work on anything, at least any operating system 10.6 or above. So I haven't checked Wikipedia today. I'm assuming it will work fine on all these browsers. In fact, I'm sure it would work fine on all these browsers. I'm really concerned with social media. And we do have some social media pages here. We're not going to try to YouTube here. I don't want to be here all day. Let's see about Instagram. Let's see if we can access Instagram. Hopefully, okay, they're taking me right to the login screen, which is one of the worst things. Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, is a partially lockdown platform, which one of the things I really dislike, because I want to be able to at least scan the profile pages without having to be signed in. Now, I just tried to go to The Rock's Twitter, and it's telling me to try it again, so let's try it again, see what happens. Wow, this is crazy. I can't get on Twitter here. Let me just change back that user agent. I mean, whoa, this is really surprising. Well, let's try native and see what happens here. Wow, this is really disappointing. Now, I'm just going to try one other thing here. We're not even, well, let's see if there is a Facebook result here. We will try that. Let me just go to more results. Hopefully, they'll just have Facebook right there. I don't think I scrolled past it. You should be able to go to The Rock's Facebook page there. Still loading. Okay, there we have it. Got to promote his latest movie now. Okay, now this is pretty cool because this is the desktop version of Facebook. Having a lot of difficulty scrolling here. Okay, there we go. Now, one benefit of using an external camera on these older machines is that you don't have any performance. If there's any performance that's being affected here by the screen recording, if I use an external camera, I don't have to deal with that issue. One thing is that the screen recording, when it works well, you're going to get a much better capture of what's on the screen than when you use an external camera. Especially this is a no budget YouTube channel, so I'm using just the cameras that I have, the microphones that I have. People have an expectation that you're a video professional when they see you on YouTube, but in general, outside of people that have a lot of financial backing. These are just normal everyday people who are just showing things on YouTube. So for me, I like the quality of the screen recording, but on these old machines, it definitely does affect things. Okay, now there's one thing here. I wish I didn't do that back button. Okay, so let's see if we can go to The Rock's TikTok, and let's see. The Rock's official TikTok. Hopefully that comes up on one of the, here we go. This is what we need right here. Okay, so let's see if we're able to, TikTok was a huge problem under 10.6. I wasn't able to access it on really any browser that we had under 10.6 on the machine. Now, one thing is I'm not showing every possible browser that you could use under the operating system that I'm showing here. I'm just showing the browsers that I'm using. So there could be some other browsers out here that will work. Now, this is the best ability to view TikTok on any of the browsers that we've shown so far. There is one more we're going to show here, and I think that's actually going to be the best one. But okay, let's just see here if we can see a full screen video here.
You know what? You're not that hard. Cause take a shot at tequila without making a face. Bet you can't. Bitch. Sorry. Type shit to make the hood go crazy. On the interstate doing 180. She said
it's playable, but it's barely playable. And okay, there we go. Okay, so we have a video of The Rock taking a shot of tequila. Okay. All right, so there we go. So at least we're able to access it here. But the performance, I gotta say, well, I'm a little disappointed here. I was expecting a lot more. But we now have probably definitely the best browser to use. And actually, I already have it open here. This is Chromium Legacy. And I actually updated this right before I started the video. This is the best browser that I've found to use on 10.7, and it is updated on a regular basis. I already did a video on this browser, and I updated this today, and there's a lot of activity on this browser. And the way you update it is you just go to and you see this is the minimum version of Mac OS that it actually works on. They're 10.7, but you can use this on 10.7, 10.8, 10.9, 10.10, and 10.10. I think the oldest version that you can use a modern version of of Google's Chrome is 10.11. 10.11 is El Capitan. 10.10 is Yosemite. Let me go down the line here. So we're on 10.7 on this machine. That's Lion. 10.8 is Mountain Lion. 10.9 is Mavericks. And 10.10 is Yosemite. So since these browsers, they're not eligible for the latest version of, I guess, Chrome or Chromium, this browser, Chromium Legacy, gives you the option of having a modern browser. See, this was updated 2 hours ago. This is the version I have on here right now. Awesome level of commitment to keeping this browser up to date at the moment. Constant updates. It's awesome. So let's just see what we can do here. And this machine is running kind of hot, affecting performance a little bit, but this is the best and most up-to-date browser, and it gives you a fairly modern browser experience here. So we're going to go first to the BBC and see how that looks. Overall, we've been able to access the BBC on all the browsers that we've shown here. And the only issue is how long it's taking to display the all the contents on the home page. That's just a reflection of how old this device is, and also the old operating system, the amount of memory that it has. So that is, and also the degrading of the browsers that we're using here, because I mean, we're using browsers. Safari is 7 years old, the version that we have on here. The version of Chrome is 5 years old, and these are the years since it's been last supported. I'm really disappointed with Pale Moon. Pale Moon was only it got to be less than 3 months since it's been last supported. The version that I have here. Now this is a version of the version of Chromium Legacy that is as recent as a few hours ago. And look at this. Everything is displaying a lot quicker than it was under, I think Pale Moon was the browser so far that we had the best results as far as loading everything. Still takes a long time, but I think if we stayed with this long enough, it will load everything like it did on the previous browser. So that is a factor here. And I'm really scared to play video here. You know, this thing is running so choppy and so slow. Okay, so we're going to leave Amazon out of it right now. So that was the BBC. Looks like it's loaded everything at this point, but, you know, don't want to press my luck here. Okay, so now we're going to go to eBay. Now, this should be a very, I'm assuming it's going to be a good experience as far as showing everything, displaying everything that you would think for it to display on a current browser. There we go. So it apparently has loaded everything here. Very slow scrolling. So this looks really good. About as good as we've seen so far. Some of the elements on the page, I think, are not necessarily missing or just haven't loaded yet. I'm having a lot of trouble here. Let's see. Okay, there we go. It is still spinning right now. So one thing you get with some of these browsers, okay, it assumed that I was doing a search here. I was not trying to search for a Roomba vacuum cleaner. I'm trying to enter MacBook here, but it is really slow. Now I have the patience here. Like if this was the only computer that I have, and I would make it work. You know that it's going to take a long time under certain conditions. This when you're using old computers like this, it's better to get in and get out really quickly, like you're just on there for like 15 minutes. But if you're a hardcore warrior on your computer like me, who's on the computer all day, this would really affect your experience, because there will be so much you just can't do because it is taking so long. The good thing with a browser such as this, it gives you access. But if you have a very old, underpowered machine, you need more than access. You need speed. So Let's go to YouTube here. Now, I'm assuming that this will be 100% accessible under YouTube. For the sake of time, I haven't been able to show everything, you know. Um, but I'm showing most of what I wanted to show. Okay, so this is still loading here. And one of the problems when you have a page that's taking a long time to load is that sometimes it will just time out. So memory is definitely an issue here. You want to have as much memory. If you're going to be using this operating system, you want to have as much memory as you can have. And you're going to need that, especially if you're going to be using browsers that give you good access to the internet. Like, this is a really good browser. But a really good browser requires a lot of resources. And that's one of the drawbacks of modern web browsing on one of these old devices. Because, the resources or their memory, the processing power, everything that it has right now was perfect for the internet in 2014, the internet in 2013, the internet in 2011, or just anything that you were doing on this computer at that time. The abilities of this device was great for that time frame, or earlier. I mean, this is a device that came out in 2008. So the abilities of what it could do was great during that time frame. Now we're in 2021, and you're going to run into issues. We'll see how long it takes. Okay, that was a lot quicker. One thing that really causes a lot of problems is that the home pages are the most bloated pages on a lot of websites. They have so many elements, so many ads, and auto playing videos, all types of stuff that they squeeze in those home pages. That they often are the worst to access. And sometimes, if we've seen with these browser tests on these old operating systems, they often the home page is the worst page as far as how everything is displayed. Sometimes the sometimes the home page is not accessible.
My Mac box set that I purchased back.
Okay, so let's get out of here. So now, okay, I don't want to. I'm about to search again on YouTube. I do not want to go there. So we're going to go back to. This is not wanting to highlight everything here. I'm having a lot of trouble doing this. The simple things become almost impossible. Okay, so let's see. The rock is so sluggish. Okay, so now, part of it is down on YouTube and the video was playing. Okay, so now let's just see what we have here. Hopefully this will allow me to go to the Rock's page on Instagram instead of sending me to the login page, which is done on every browser that I've tried here. Yes, it's been sending me each time to the login pages. It's not even allowing me to see a limited view even of their it's one of the problems with Instagram. Okay, so I didn't see any of his other. Okay, here's his Twitter. I've had a lot of trouble with Twitter today. I thought under 10.7 today I would have a lot more luck with Twitter, but I haven't had a lot of luck. Even here it's not wanting to display. What is going on here? Okay, here we go. It's finally loading. Wow, this has been insane. So this is the desktop version of Twitter. Slowly loading. Okay, here we go. Still loading. Gotta promote those projects. I chose The Rock today at random. I always try to think of celebrities that are really active in social media, and he's one of the most active. You see, he has 15 million here on Twitter. I think he has way more than that on Facebook and on Instagram. He's one of the biggest stars in social media. There's a lot of stars that are not. Social media is just so interesting because there are people who are huge and they're bigger in social media than they are in other facets of their career. And then there are people who are big in their other facets of their career, but they're not big in social media. They have very small. They haven't been able to translate their success in other fields into a success in social media. I mean, it's its own animal, social media. You know, success in one area doesn't always make you successful in another. But I think the people that embraced it early on and really tried to interact with the platforms in a big way really gained a huge number of benefits from that. And The Rock was one of the people that was able to do that. I think it's just such an excellent way uh, to really stay relevant in your career if you become really good in social media. A lot of ways to earn income and to create buzz for your projects. You know, so if you have any other celebrities that you can think of, there's millions of them. But I try to find someone that I mean they're going to have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Those are the ones I kind of check out to see. Some celebrities also have. I mean, The Rock apparently has a YouTube channel. I was seeing it on these results because of the slowness of YouTube today on this test. I've been trying to do the bare minimum here. Now TikTok should work here, work without any problems. But this is also the benefit of having a web browser that's still under the development. Because a lot of these browsers, these third-party browsers, you have the top of the line, first line browsers like the ones that come with the operating system, or major browsers like Firefox, Chrome, that you download off the internet. These are the browsers that give you the greatest ability to connect to the internet. Uh, and when they start aging, that's a problem because then you start to lose. It starts to break connectivity. So for some of these old browsers, you have these secondary browsers like Arctic Fox, Pale Moon, Chromium Legacy that you can use, and they give you the ability to connect to modern web pages. We also had 10.4 Fox for many years, which is still it's nearing this end of development now, like next month or October, like October 1st or something like that. Okay, so here we have it. So apparently TikTok has a desktop app, or you can use the app on mobile. Okay, let's just see if we can access this video here.
You know what? You're not the.
When he starts drinking the tequila, some music starts, so I just wanted to pause that. This is much smoother playback. Much smoother playback. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, so one thing is that eBay and TikTok is much more accessible under 10.7 than under 10.6. I wasn't able to access TikTok on any of the browsers under that I had on my machine under 10.6. eBay was very much problematic under 10.6. I think only one browser. I think it was Arctic Fox was the only one that I could actually access eBay in any meaningful way. I mean, it's a lot of fun to use these devices. They are still very functional. There's plenty of different things that you can do on this that doesn't involve being on the internet. So you can definitely use these for a document creation, a lot of creative work, and they're just as good today as they were back when they were brand new, especially if your machine is in good working order, which this one is relatively in good working order. I didn't get this in 2018, or excuse me, 2008 when it was first released. I got this somewhere later, I think in 2019 or so, used. Uh, and it's in really good condition. Um, so I definitely like using this for fun. It's not my top of the line machine that I use every day, but it is something that I do like to use and see how it's holding up. Now, the thing is, it is holding up fairly well to be so old and out of support. It's still able to do a lot of different things. You do have to do browser jumping. You have to jump between a lot of different browsers to try to find the one that gives you. It's a couple things you're looking for. You're looking for access, and you're also looking for some type of acceptable experience, because sometimes it's so slow and it's so choppy that even if you do get access, it's not a meaningful experience. So you're jumping around a lot. So that's a problem here. Um, I do jump around a lot on my modern machines because I have a ton of different browsers on there, but it's really just out of choice. It's not out of trying to access websites. And each one really performs very well on the internet. It just comes down to personal choice. Here, you have to jump around a lot just to be able to do simple things or to access everyday sites. So it can be kind of frustrating, but it is kind of fun. I mean, I've often said I don't like tinkering with my machines, and I don't. I don't really like opening them up and upgrading machines, through physical means like switching out the hard internal hardware. I don't really like doing that. I have done it, but it's not something that's fun for me. I think it's kind of expensive. It's very time consuming, and there's a lot of chance to get things wrong. You have to find a really good tutorial, and they are out there. But the thing that I guess it kind of works out as tinkering is that I like to figure out what the capabilities of some of the old browsers that I have, old and new, that are able to support these old systems and see what they can still do today and whatever the current year is at that time. So this is kind of fun for me. I like doing this type of stuff. Um, I might try to come back and not use the screen recording software, although I love using it. I mean, it's a much better video for me to use this screen recording software than to use an external camera. But I think it does affect the performance a bit. But so we'll see what we're going to do, because this is something I'm going to continue to do, looking at this operating system and others, and want to show that here on YouTube. So I'm glad you were able to watch this. I don't know how many people are going to watch this entire video. It's so long. But it's fun for me to do these long videos. Uh, and I would like to see other people do videos like this as well. Uh, for 10.7, 10.6, 10.5, whatever browser that you're using on whatever version of Mac OS that you're using. We're talking older versions that are out of support here. And to see what they're able to do, showing whatever websites you choose to show. You don't what you choose to show. You don't have to show the ones I'm showing here. And I think that gives a more full, complete picture that people can see what these devices can do. But I'm very happy that whoever has remained with me till the end here has done so. Whoever decided to subscribe to the channel or even watch this video for just 5 minutes. But this is Digital Wandering signing off. Thank you for watching.